exciting events just keep on coming. We're talking about everything from tourism to cuisine, to sport and ancient festivals. Hello everyone, I am Erin Olivia Dennison and welcome to the latest edition of Caribbean Passport TV. There's also the transition into the winter travel season to talk about, with promises of several eye-opening developments across our regional destinations. So what are we waiting for? Let's take this show on the road right now. A major event involving the entire region occurred in Barbados, where pioneers, visionaries, experts, and officials converged for the State of the Tourism Industry Conference. It was all about facing up to the new digital-based age of travel, along with the issues of airlift, source market intelligence, sports, and wellness tourism.
The Caribbean's diversity of cultural offerings, thrilling activities, attractions, and its tradition of top-class hospitality have all been drawing in visitors for several decades. Now, one of the world's most popular holiday destinations is standing on the cusp of a new era in tourism, one that involves a greater focus on sustainability, expanding product diversification, and the onward march of technological innovation, with artificial intelligence being very much the watchwords these days. The Caribbean Tourism Organization's 2025 State of the Tourism Industry Conference represented an invaluable opportunity for new ideas to be exchanged, suggestions to be floated around, and early plans to be put in place with regards to the changing travel scene. In addition, a multitude of challenges and issues were tackled throughout the Hilton Barbados Resort in Bridgetown.
This is a space where we align on common goals, where we exchange data and best practices, where we are strengthened not just by the regional voice, but by the regional will. Too often in our past, we've had great ideas that have struggled to take root, ideas that were discussed but not implemented. That cycle must end. The road ahead requires decisive action. Action that is grounded in research, action that is grounded in relevance to our people, and action that moves us forward. Let us not leave this conference inspired but unchanged. Let us leave with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to implement, ready to innovate, and ready to reimagine.
How can we work together more as a region when it comes to things like airlift, when it comes to cruise, in terms of our negotiations? It also highlights the need for us to look within, for us to look at the region, for travelers from within the region, for inter-Caribbean travel, and also other emerging markets like Latin America that they're right next door to us. How can we forge more linkages with them, not only for tourism, but also in trade as well?
SOTIC 2025 was focused on the critical role played by tourism in sustaining the economies, cultures, and communities of this region. The important issues included airlift, source market intelligence, along with sports, medical, and wellness tourism. In addition, strategies for enhanced resilience in a challenging and changing world were also unveiled.
We'll be talking about how do we create data-driven decisions in the Caribbean. We understand and appreciate that data is king, and everything that we do comes from data. We have to understand what our customers want. We have to understand what's going on in our source markets. We have to be able to project into the future so we could plan, not just the numbers, but the details in terms of exactly where are we looking for our visitors? How do we ensure that they have a good time in the Caribbean?
A series of vibrant opening events gave way to the expert-led sessions and intriguing panel discussions that would dominate the following 2 days. Apart from the development of strategies aimed at revitalization, innovation, and protection of the Caribbean's tourism industry, the experts, officials, and pioneers on hand were also concerned with fostering greater prosperity within the regional travel sector. These sessions included Powering the Future of Caribbean Tourism, a ministerial exchange which involved top public officials throughout the region.
We want the benefits of tourism to trickle down to the ordinary man on the street. The guy who's planting the tomatoes, the guy who's doing the cocoa, the guy who is doing the nutmeg. We want to make sure that whatever benefits we get from tourism, it filters to them. In Grenada, we are advocating to open schools of hospitality as centers of excellence throughout the country, where people can come in at a very young age and get familiar with the industry.
Showing up at the CTO gives me a very first-hand view of what other destinations are doing, because the first thing that you have to figure out is what is happening elsewhere for me to determine where do I fit, how could I compete, how could I break through the noise. Tobago's reality, because we focus so heavily on tourism, we are impacted a lot more by shocks in the external environment. We have to look at how are we investing in public infrastructure to support the sector alongside new infrastructure. How are we building sustainably? How are we attracting brands whose focus is sustainability?
There's climate change and also disaster preparedness. If a storm is coming, how are we engaging with all the major players? In terms of marketing, it's not just what you purposefully market, but knowing that social media, you can have one experience from someone that can go viral. The world that we live in terms of tourism is more dynamic and challenging. We have to be more competitive, and that keeps us on our toes, which I think is good.
This discussion schedule also included unlocking the niche market potential of sports tourism, Caribbean tourism, trends, truths and trajectories, a holistic approach to tourism, uniting cruise and hotel sectors for destination-wide success, health and hospitality, the future of medical and wellness tourism, along with source markets intelligence from London to Lagos and source market intelligence, US, Canada, Latin America unpacked.
What we're seeing is a paradigm shift, the age of intelligence coming upon us, and it is absolutely critical for us to engage, for us to reimagine tourism, for us to re-engineer, for us to do things slightly differently, because within the paradigm shift, we're seeing that our customers are changing. We have new customers from the Middle East, from China, and I think we have to be ready for these new markets. And I think it's important in doing that to use technologies to get closer to our customers. I think we need to focus on research. We need to develop tourism with one voice, one Caribbean, one vision.
What is the market telling us now? What data do we have? And how can we use that data to expand our tourism industry to make it more attractive? And for us, Afreximbank, how do we support the tourism industry? What financial tools and what technical support that we can provide? We serve 13 out of the 15 CARICOM member states out of our Barbados office. We want to talk to you, we want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
The health of the Caribbean is very closely interlinked with the wealth of the Caribbean, and even more so with tourism. We have more visitors that come to the region than actually live here. Our first cases of many illness are imported, so we have to be able to put measures in place to nip visitor illness to make sure they are getting a healthier and safer experience. And this is what is going to set apart the Caribbean from other destinations. In addition to the sun, sand, and sea, you have a healthier, safer destination.
Among the additional sessions were Airlift 360, connecting the region, fueling tourism, and the stayover market, driving growth in Caribbean tourism.
We as the airline are always looking for opportunities. It has to be the right opportunity. It's a huge investment to go into new routes, new places. We look for partnerships on the ground with tourist boards, with governments. How does that look? How does that work? We need more interregional travel. Yes, we need more airlines, but how can we do that? Appreciating that we have a very limited amount within the Caribbean, but encouraging others though to help us move around, increases trade.
We really have to follow the consumer where the consumer is. They ultimately are engaged in the travel research, the travel homework, the travel booking, and they're doing that all online. It means that we need to unlock our stories in this digital format that is very interactive, very personal, very authentic, and very genuine.
You put on the VR headset and you're immersed in a different world. We've been able to also capture 360 videos. So we put someone in a VR headset and they're looking around and they feel demystified in full transparency and glory, what the destination looks like and what it's all about. They may be in Toronto, Canada, in the middle of a -40 winter, and at the same time they're going to feel the warmth of the Caribbean and wanting to come here. These are just tools that are able to enhance experiences, especially in this digital age.
A much anticipated SOTIC event is the Regional Tourism Youth Congress, which involves secondary school students serving as junior ministers of tourism as they debate travel-related topics and present their own innovative ideas for attracting visitors to their destinations. Thanks to her interactive living history initiatives, which will fall in line with heritage-based tourism in her native Tobago, the top prize went to Jolie St. John. Congratulations to you, Jolie. SOTIC 2025 concluded with a CTO press conference plus destination media briefings, which allow for final reflections and for the message of reimagining Caribbean tourism to be communicated.
I just want to emphasize how important it is that we practice One Caribbean. When you look at our spending power and our vast culture and what we do in the tourism industry, when the Caribbean decides to work together, we're just as powerful as any other large country or any large continent. We can drive airlines, we can drive cruise lines, we can move tourism when we decide to work together. If tourism doesn't benefit my people, then there's no point in doing it. That's what One Caribbean means to me.
Vacation, a chance to relax, have fun, and enjoy some of the spoils of life. The leisure experiences offered by the Caribbean continue to set it apart as a popular global destination. And it is a region that actively is adjusting to the next stage of international travel with a new face on the same great body of tourism excellence.
There's definitely a lot for travelers to the Caribbean to look forward to. Up next, Republic Bank's Power to Make a Difference program recently kicked off yet another year, enhancing lives and improving communities.
Quality of life is an invaluable concept that's crucial to all citizens of our Caribbean societies. Aided by Republic Bank's Power to Make a Difference program, a multitude of non-governmental organizations have been providing important services throughout our communities. 75 NGOs were officially welcomed as PMAD partners during the launch of Republic Bank's Power to Make a Difference program for 2025 to 26, which took place at the bank's corporate headquarters building in Port of Spain.
Each of these partnerships reflect a shared purpose, our shared purpose, and that is to create meaningful and measurable change. Together, we formed a combined, integrated effort that advances the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. These goals, of course, help us to create stronger and more resilient communities across the region.
Purpose is what drives us. It is the anchor that grounds our actions and spark that fuels our progress. Purpose transforms what we do from mere projects into movements, from individual efforts into collective shared triumphs.
Every initiative, every partnership, every act of caring adds to a bigger story. Communities finding strength, people discovering opportunity, and hope becoming reality.
Under this year's theme, Powered by Purpose, Transforming Communities, Republic Bank will continue its commitment to initiatives that promote education, healthcare, environmental preservation, inclusion, arts and culture, sport, youth development, poverty alleviation, and entrepreneurship.
The NGO space in Trinidad and Tobago cannot achieve any of our missions and visions without the help of partners like Republic Bank Power to Make a Difference. We need corporate intervention and corporate partnerships to make it happen.
We were able to support over 200 families with urban greening and home gardening activities, and we trained 60 children who are going to lead environmental education activities in their schools. I mean, the power of this activity speaks for itself.
Each partner that was present at the event was presented with a sealed terrarium, a symbolic gift that represents the growth, community, and nurturing spirit that will define the new term.
The funding from Republic Bank goes to do a program called Power of One, and we are in many secondary schools, mainly a few primary schools, where we have life skills and different developmental programs for the young people.
Republic is the only corporate sponsor that has pumped money into our program 100%. So this funding, we pay our coaches, we help the kids in tournaments, and with this it made a difference. And I must say, power to make a difference is my mantra with Republic Bank.
It's the dawn of yet another exciting year, a period that thousands across the Caribbean can look forward to with anticipation and hope, thanks to organizations such as these, which are continuing to make a difference.
Over 300 years of tradition. A journey from swaying cane fields to ancient stills. The rums produced by Demerara Distillers Limited have a history that began in blazing fire, a cleansing, cane stripped bare, the Caribbean's liquid gold revealed within. It is in this age-old process defined by our ancestors that this legendary spirit is born again. El Dorado, crafted richer, aged deeper.
The beauty of the Caribbean is perfectly captured in the designs I'm wearing today by talented textile designer and artist Lisa Fay. The action never ceases in Barbados, where there's always an event happening. The popular Food and Rum and Run Barbados road races still to come before the end of the year. In addition, visitors can also look forward to another wave of exciting hotel and resort property openings.
A banner year for Barbados in terms of events continues on. The one and only Barbados Food and Rum Festival serves up another round of great food and drinks, along with all-around fantastic times from November 6th to the 9th.
This year, for the first time, we are working closely with the National Cultural Foundation. So we are working with them to promote the Food and Rum Festival. Again, 3 days of activity highlighting our culinary product, highlighting our rum, highlighting our local chefs and mixologists.
The final call on the Barbados Food and Rum Festival would have hardly died down when the focus shifts to the Caribbean Hospitality Institute's Exchange Forum and Taste of the Caribbean, which will both be hosted by the Wyndham Grand Barbados Resort between the 16th and the 18th. Then it's time to grab those running spikes and start warming up for the Run Barbados Marathon Weekend 2025 from December 5th to the 7th.
And it's a weekend of activity, this time for the active traveler to come and participate, whether it's our fun mile on the Friday, or 5K, or 10K, or a marathon, or hike, the yoga, all of the activity, and then relax with the spa activity, which is also all offered during that weekend.
Sports tourism is just one of several exciting developments that will be taking place in Barbados during the winter travel season through 2026.
We wanted to reintroduce Barbados to maybe people who've been to Barbados many years ago, or even those who are coming often. We wanted to say Barbados is here, but be aware of these changes, the changes in the accommodation sector, the changes, the additions that we're adding to our ancillary sector in terms of the restaurants and all the other things that we're doing on island. So we want to introduce and to reintroduce Barbados again and again.
As a truly dynamic travel destination, the Barbados scene is ever-changing, with new hotspots and activities to check out all the time.
I'm representing the Hilton Barbados Resort, and we are a fully beach resort. All of our rooms are actually ocean view. We have 342 rooms and suites, and we sit on the historic Needham's Point, where we're home to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Charles Fort Military Base.
South Point Hotel is a new hotel to Barbados. We are a family-friendly hotel. We cater to multi-generational families, girlfriends weekends. We cater to couples. We do weddings for 15 persons and under. So therefore, that'd be very exciting to have your wedding in the South Point Hotel.
Intimate Hotels of Barbados. Well, we are a collection of just over 35 properties in Barbados. We try to cater to what would be the more affordable traveler. We have a property basically for everybody, everybody's desire. The charm and hospitality of Barbados is what our properties really represent.
Regional travelers who are planning to join the winter snowbirds flocking to Barbados can ask their travel agents all about the events, attractions and accommodation that can be savored.
We do see a lot of requests coming in for Barbados. We get to actually advise customers as to what is the best decision in terms of what they're looking at. If it's an all-inclusive, if it's a bed and breakfast option.
Barbados is dear, very dear to me. It's one of my top destinations in the Caribbean. I do book Barbados a lot. The attractions they more gravitate to would be the activities Barbados has to offer, the food.
Barbados is so diversified. The market has changed. People are now going with families. They want the all-inclusive. They pay one price and they get everything in it.
Barbados has continued to be one of the preferred choice destination for our market, both leading in the all-inclusive and the non-all-inclusive category.
Barbados, where thrilling experiences are never far away.
Considering your next trip to Antigua and Barbuda? Just remember, one beach for every day of the year, thrilling sailing, carnival events, plus the dynamic adjustments that are always being made to suit the global market. Let's hear from the Minister of Tourism in Antigua and Barbuda, who was a key speaker at SOTIC 2025.
Whole aspect of it is for us to get together as Caribbean tourism leaders and discuss what the challenges we see coming. For example, there's a shutdown now where you would realize in the US, the economy, this shutdown. And how is that going to affect us? That's something, for example, we saw coming just recently, but usually it tends to fix itself. That could have an impact, and of course the US market is the most important market to the Caribbean still. So those are the kinds of things we look at. There's other geopolitical issues, the tariffs, a number of other concerns. So we get together and discuss ideas, how we think we can navigate through it, because as you would realize, tourism is the lifeblood of the Caribbean. We have to look to explore new source markets, Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and to that end we are working as best we can through or partnering with the Caribbean Tourism Organization to see how we can again source those markets through airlift and charters, whatever necessary. Again, yes, we want to expand, yes, we want to build more, but to actually build now with a different frame of mind, bearing in mind the importance of resilience and sustainability.
So Antigua and Barbuda has been performing really well, at least for the first 6 months of the year. We're 4% up, and we are really looking forward to additional growth taking us into the end of the year. In terms of airlift, we are excited about the prospects of a new connection between Antigua and Colombia. That has been a talk of the conference, as well as there was a session on Latin American exploring emerging markets, and this is one of the markets that we are certainly exploring as we do try to diversify our product. The year is shaping up nicely. We want to really showcase that in Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning. We have 365 beaches, but we also have vibrant festivals and activities taking place year-round. Next up for us is the Antigua and Barbuda Art Week that takes place from November 26th to December 2nd, and it really is a showcase of our culture in the form of visual arts, music, dance, spoken word, and so much more. We're launching Culinary Month. Culinary Month was introduced May 2025, and it's definitely back again in May 2026, and we'll be launching that event in November.
One of the biggest attractions annually in Trinidad and Tobago due to its appeal and participation is Diwali. And why not? The Festival of Lights is a celebration of light over darkness. Actually, the celebration of Diwali in Trinidad and Tobago is the biggest Hindu festival outside of India. Let's all enjoy.
Diwali, the ever-popular festival of lights, draws its participants together in a spirit of positivity. While this event, which celebrates the victory of Dharma over Adharma, light over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance, is observed throughout the Hindu world, in countries as Trinidad and Tobago, Diwali has long been embraced by the entire national community, with festivities taking place in towns and cities throughout this nation. The Diwali Nagar site in Chaguanas is one of the traditional epicenters of Diwali celebrations in Trinidad and Tobago, and the 2025 edition of this event was launched with typical enthusiasm.
This 2025 is our 38th year of existence, staging this massive event. Now, as you can see, it takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of finance to execute an event like this. What is interesting in this whole Diwali Nagar, it brings Trinidad and Tobago and parts of the world. We have a lot of visitors from Guadeloupe and Martinique here. We have some from Suriname, some from Guyana. They come every year to Diwali Nagar. And when you look at the crowd that comes to Nagar, you will see it's a mixed crowd. This is a festival for the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Apart from the entertainment displays that have served as showcases of Hindu culture, Diwali has long been noted for the signature lighting of diyas, which emphasize the light over darkness aspect, along with the opportunity to bring families and communities closer together.
Our food court is well patronized. You get every single local Indian delicacy, Indian food, Indian culinary delight there. Yeah, from pepper roti, people come up with their own innovations, everything is there. We have a lot of young people performing. Our focus is giving the young people an opportunity. This is a big stage. I mean, it's a dream to perform on that stage, and we want to fulfill those dreams.
The day that Rama returned to his kingdom in Ayodhya along with his wife Sita and his brother Lakshmana, after defeating the demon king Ravana, is the episode upon which Diwali is based. And the joyous celebrations emanating from this moment continue in dynamic form, with bright colors and lights, along with the unstoppable rhythms.
And this is what makes Diwali so special. On this note, it's time for us to part ways. Once again, I am Erin Olivia Dennison, and many thanks to Lisa Sargent of Lisa Fay Designs at the Hotel Normandy in Trinidad and Tobago as our feature designer this month. I hope to see you soon on another episode of Caribbean Passport TV. Until then, have your passport ready and let's travel Take care, everyone.